Well, welcome upstairs at the Apple Bowl in Kelowna. Okanagan Sun versus the Kamloops Broncos. It is rivalry weekend across the BCFC, and this is the final of the 3 games on the schedule this weekend. Wins already posted by Vancouver Island and Langley have them 5-3, and in second place tied, and the Broncos out of Kamloops trying to catch them. Okanagan Sun 7-0 and looking for another unbeaten season. Kirk Baitke and Jason Casey up here in the press box. We were talking a little bit in the preamble, Jason, just about how this is a really compelling matchup because there are so many different things that these two teams do well. Obviously, the Sun have a great offense. The Broncos have a great offense. Sun have a great defense. Sun, it's been all business. The approach over the Broncos a little bit different, a little bit more laid back. So there are so many different subplots here. This is going to be a very interesting game to take in.
No doubt about it, Kirk. And what we're going to be looking at is going to be that key matchup between the Okanagan defense and the Broncos offense, with the 4-man attack from the Broncos with their quarterback Sherweller, and then the 2 receivers and running back that he has, and it's going to be a key for the defense to see where they shut them down.
You can see the Okanagan Sun right now, and one of their injured players, Shamar Donaldson, getting them all fired up, getting ready for this big matchup. And I think one thing that gets talked about a lot is just how good these two teams are on offense. And I think there's a lot of depth as far as the Okanagan Sun are concerned. They've got a 3 different receivers that can hurt you. You got a couple of running backs that can provide you some offense. For Kamloops, it's a couple of guys on the wide outs. You got one big running back, and you got the quarterback who basically runs the entire show. I'm really interested to see who finds a way through first. Does the Sun defense find a way to stop that Bronco offense, or do the Broncos find a way to solve a Sun defense which has only given up an average of 6 points a game?
And I think that's going to be the key. I think it's going to come down to what front 7, or even front 4 for that matter, with maybe some blitzing pressure, is going to disrupt the other team's offense the best. Is it going to be the passing attack of Gehring and Machado that's going to get to Schuweller first, or is it going to be on the other side of the ball? Or the Kamloops Broncos defense going to be able to disrupt Bador or Joseph and their run and pass attack?
Interesting subplot as well, too, is head coach of the Sun, Shane Beatty, hails originally from Kamloops. I know he and the Kamloops coaching staff sharing a few words before the game and just comparing notes, but you look at the way this is shaping up. The Broncos, you were telling me, Jason, you had a chance to talk to them before the game, and Coach Brad Yamoka was keeping it pretty loose. No sense in getting too worked up about a big game. They wanted to go in here and have some fun with it.
And that's what he was telling the guys during the week. Keep it loose, have fun out there, guys. It's a great venue to come into, and if you're able to steal one from the Okanagan Sun, fantastic. If not, lay it out on the field and get ready for the rest of the season.
The Sun talking about respect. They feel their offense is getting none, and we'll see if that motivates them to a big game this afternoon in their home field. Thomas Huber set to kick off for the Okanagan Sun, going left to right on your TV, wearing brown and orange, and the Broncos in white, blue, and orange. And we are underway as Aaron Moran will take it away for the Broncos. Up the middle, gets across the 30 to about the 34, and that is where the Broncos will start this first quarter.
Yeah, and that's a nice return. That's a great place to, not the shadow of the goalpost in your back to start your first series. And here's what we've been talking about, is this litmus test for this Broncos offense against this mighty Sun defense.
Steven Schuweller is the quarterback for the Kamloops Broncos, wearing number 5, and he has 3 main targets. He's got 2 receivers, Derek Yatchison and Devin Chincha, 18 and 88 respectively, and Jacob Palmerine in the backfield wearing number 34. But then there's that pass rush, that defense of the Okanagan Sun, and they're all lined up. So, first down, early movement, handoff to the near side. Paul Marine cutting back to the middle, gets across the 35. Short gain. Well, they actually scrimmaged from about the 30 after the kick, so a good gain, about 6 yards for Paul Marine.
And that's a great position to be for the offense against a defense like this, opening the game up. Now you've got a 2nd and short, which is exactly where you want to be all day long.
Jonas Gehring, the main man on the pass rush for the Okanagan Sun on that defense, 8.5 sacks already this year. And Lucas Machado, also a name to watch for. They wear numbers 95 and 45 respectively. So 2nd and 4 for the Broncos. Nobody in the backfield, throwing to the near side. Caught by Yatchison. He's spun out of bounds, and he gets to just across the 40-yard line. That will be a Bronco first down.
Yeah, it looks like they got enough on there. And right now we're seeing Shinsa and what do we got here? On both sides of the ball are lining up. So we're going to see how the Okanagan Sun match that up and maybe keep them away from passing to the wide side.
So we've played 1 minute and 15 seconds here in the first quarter. No score, but it's first down for Kamloops just across their own 40-yard line. Paul Marine in the backfield. Chinchin Yatchison to the same side. Handoff up the middle. Paul Marine struggling to get through the pile, but not a lot of running room. Maybe a yard against that Okanagan defense.
And yeah, right now the Kamloops Broncos are running kind of a gun wing with the tailback behind the quarterback, and that handoff is really deep, and it's allowing their front four, front seven to really see where it's going to be a play action pass or a run. So the defense, I think that's a little bit easier on the defense to read that right now.
So a second and long, call it 2nd and 9 from the 41 and change. 3 receivers to the far side, 2 to the near side. And Schuweiler with 1 man in the backfield. Empty backfield, the flag comes down, throw near side, picked off. The Sun have it, it's Brennan Van Nistelrooy taking it down the sideline. He's inside the 25 through about the 21, but there is a flag down.
Yeah, I was watching the backfield, so I didn't see if maybe the defense jumped offside or not. But that mistake by Schuweiler there, I think a lot of his passing is timing-wise, and if the Okanagan Sun can continue to disrupt them like that, that's going to be key.
Looks like we have the penalty going against the defense. That's the early indication. And just checking with the Kamloops bench to see what they want to do. I think they'll take the penalty.
I would imagine they're going to want that ball back, absolutely.
So Kent Lawrence offside on the play. So it buys the Broncos an extra down. It's going to be 2nd and about 4 from the 46.
And for obvious reasons, that's a huge mistake. You just took away an INT for your defense, but also you never want to see your D-line jumping offside. They need to watch that ball, and it just gives the Kamloops Broncos some more momentum.
Kent Lawrence, one of the 2 American products playing for the Sun this year, out of Dinuba, California. All 6'7" of them. Empty backfield again, throw near side. That is caught just across the 50. And bringing that one in was Colin Mather.
Looks close for another first down, yeah.
Looks like he might be indeed measuring that. Looking at the markers, it's going to be very, very close. So an important measurement here. The Broncos already catching a break with that offside penalty on the interception, the would-be interception by Van Nistelrooy. And now we get to determine just how close they are or are not to a first down here and extending the drive.
Yes, and again, as I mentioned earlier, it looks like their passing attack is a lot of timing. And if the Okanagan Sun start reading that and disrupting that timing, they may see a lot more opportunities for INTs or to make the Schuweiler hold the ball and possibly get some sacks out of it.
3 passing plays so far, and they've all been to the near side of the field. And little outs as well.
Yeah.
Ball possession, ball control approach from the Broncos early on.
Yeah, and it's completely opposite of where their studs are. Right now they've got Yatchison and Shinsa on the wide side of the field, and they're not even looking that way yet. So are they playing possum against this defense, or they got a bigger game plan?
Result of the measurement was a first down for Kamloops. So they've got 2 first downs on this drive, extended with some assistance from an Okanagan penalty. And we are set to go here. 12:29 to go first quarter. No score. Broncos 1st and 10 from their own 50. Handoff. Paul Marine gets by the first pressure. Cuts back into the middle and gets across the 51. Very near the 50. And that is going to be 2nd and short for Kamloops.
Yeah, and that was a great defensive call by the Okanagan Sun with that blitz coming up right where they wanted to run the ball. They just unfortunately couldn't make the tackle for a loss. And when you do that, you get guys on a blitz, then going second level for a huge gain is easy for a running back of that quality.
Well, Jacob Paul Marine, number 34 for Kamloops, leads the league in rushing with 836 yards. Coming into the weekend, nobody else had more than 600.
And that'll be really nice to establish against this front seven. If you can give your run game that kind of average, absolutely 2nd and short all day long.
Cam McKenzie also in the backfield, lead blocker, handoff, Paul Marine across the 50, and another Kamloops first down. They are moving the ball effectively early against this Okanagan defense.
And that's all you want to do. Opening drive against a team like the Okanagan Sun on their home field, a really great matchup. And right now you're eating the clock, you're establishing your offensive game plan, and you're not making mistakes aside from the INT that they got lucky to come back, and you're moving the chains.
So Steven Schuweiler, so far perfect on the afternoon. Again, not counting the interception called back by the offside. 2 receivers to either side, Paul Marine in the backfield. Handoff to Paul Marine, and not much there, maybe a couple of yards just off the left side.
Yeah, and it wasn't a very smooth handoff on that play, so that kind of disrupted Paul Marine hitting the line of scrimmage, full tilt, and seeing where the hole might be, and that allows the defensive linebackers to close in on him.
You touched on the alignment of having Yatchison and Chincha on the wide side. Does that influence then the defense a little bit more to that right side, opening up that left then a little bit?
I would imagine so. Those are the two top receivers on this team, so you've got to respect that for sure. You don't want to get caught not respecting that, and it's going to allow maybe the weak side to be vulnerable.
Single backfield again. Now Schuweiler drops back, throws wide side. It is caught by Chincha, and he's knocked down at the 30-yard line. That is a gain of about 14 yards and more than enough for another Kamloops first down.
And that's a gutsy throw to have the wide side of the field second level like that. Opportunity with too much air under that football to have it picked off, but that was a great route by Chincha, and again, they're moving the chains against a top-notch defense.
93 receptions coming into the game between Yatchison and Chincha. Yatchison with 50, Chincha with now 44. After that reception there for another Kamloops first down. So they're inside Okanagan territory. 9:50 to go first quarter. No score in the game, and we have a whistle here to delay the proceedings. Just a moment.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if that's a referee timeout or if one of the teams called so.
Maybe they looks like they're ruling the ball got moved.
The center's moving the ball a little up, which every center likes to do.
Well, Derek Waldy is the man in the middle there for the Kamloops Broncos, and refs caught that, so we'll reset and resume here. Again, Paul Marine in the backfield. Two receivers either side, hand off to the left, and Paul Marine spun down, and that is a loss of about 1.5 yards. So the Broncos in second and long situation here in Okanagan territory.
Yeah, and I think the Okanagan Sun is starting to pick up on some reads. When they're in that gun wing, you got McKenzie, number 33, that's coming across for the Kamloops Broncos, and so far, every time he does that, it seems to be a power lead to that side. So if you keep giving those tendencies, a quality defense like the Sun are going to eat you up all day long.
All right, so now the Sun will have to go into the Broncos, will go and have to go into their bag of tricks and come up with something here. As it's 5 receivers, 3 to the wide side. Schuweiler drops, looks, fakes, now throws underneath. Pass is caught by Broden Romanovich, but it's not going to be enough for a first down. It's just across the 30 to about the 28, and that's going to leave them about 7 yards short of a first down.
Yeah, and although they may not be keeping the chains moving, and I don't know if this is going to be within their, they might be bringing out the field goal. What impresses me with that pass production, the Okanagan Sun brought some pressure, and Schuweiler had a lot of time to check down to his second, third receivers, which is very impressive considering who he's going up against.
So the Sun will give him that, especially with second and long, and it appears as though the Broncos will be...
Looks like punting. Yeah.
It looks like it is going to be a punt formation. So
we'll see. They got Jordan Angove up at the top of our screen there. He may end up being onside by the time they kick it away. So we'll look at him with a short pooch kick and see if he stays onside. No, he's heading up to the line of scrimmage.
And we have a flag thrown.
Looks like the last game. And that's certainly not a bad situation there. Give them a bit more room to try and pin the Okanagan Sun within their 10. I would imagine that's what they're going to try and aim, is coffin kick them in that corner and try and get them at their goal line at their back to start their first series.
So by the time, they have the Sun receiver right back at the goal line awaiting this kick, which is almost blocked. But the punt is down on the right sideline, the far sideline here, and carries out at the 17-yard line, and that is where the Sun will scrimmage for the first time in this football game. They get it midway through this opening quarter, 7:43 to go. No score between the Sun and the Broncos.
And that was some good pressure by Cord Delente that got in there from the Okanagan Sun. Put some good pressure on the kicker there. And yeah, as you said, they're going to have a long field to move down, but I don't think that's anything the Kamloops Broncos need to hang their head over for their first series. I think that was a fantastic drive by them.
So Anthony Arduini with the punt for Kamloops will pin the Sun back at their 17. So we are ready to go with the first Sun offensive series of this football game. So Bador with the toss to the near side, and it's Dylan Fortune running around to about the 20. And a gain will wind up being about 3 yards. Bronco defense stout there on that toss to the right side.
Yeah, some good pursuit from the Broncos defense, and the short side corner allowing him to have to cut back into where all his pursuit is, not giving Fortune the opportunity to get to the sidelines and up the field.
So the Bronco offense has been very good all year. Their defense doesn't rank among the top 3. You have the Sun, and you have Langley, and you have Vancouver Island, and the Broncos are 4th in that list. So it'll be a tough test for them against the highest scoring offense in the BCFC. So 2nd and 6. Bador throwing to the far side. Broncos unable to get to the receiver, Kyle Kawamoto, until he gains the first down yardage and more. He's out to the 38.
Great pass and run play, and that was a key block by Kyle Patchell, number 2. That was huge to allow him to get into pass to first down yardage. And as you were saying, too, about the Kamloops defense, yeah, nothing standing out, but this will be the test to see, are they just riding the coattails of their offense, or do they have some athletes out there that can perform?
So the Broncos are the 3-man front as the Sun set up. I formation, 2 receivers either side. So Bador calls a snap. Fortune over the left side, gets across the 40 to we'll give him the 40. So a couple of yards there for a 2nd and 8 now for the Sun.
There's that power eye that I'm expecting to see a healthy dose from the Okanagan Sun this game. But Fortune just has to keep his pad level down lower, read that gap, and then just hit it like a bat out of hell and get north-south.
Cam Bador with a good year as well. 807 passing yards on the year coming into this game. 1 man in the backfield, 3 receivers to the wide side. And Bador's going to take it himself off the left side and more as he weaves through the defense. He's got room to move. Bador on the move. And he's wrapped up and taken down on defense by Zach Bosch. But big yards for Cam Bador, and the Okanagan Sun quickly in scoring position.
And that looks like a line of scrimmage read by the offense right there. I think they saw something that they could manipulate from the Kamloops Broncos defense and took a huge chance on that. And Bador, who's a great running quarterback, took a chance, and it paid off big time.
A 9-yard average this season running for Cam Bador, and he got that and a whole lot more on that last run. And the Sun, 1st and 10 on the Kamloops 30 with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. So Bador dropping back, pressure. The blitz is there, but Bador gets it away, but it's dropped. That's a tough break on that far side for Kyle Kawamoto as he had it and first down yardage, but couldn't squeeze it.
Yeah, good job on Bador to see the pressure and step up in a pocket, which you want a quarterback to do. Seeing the receiver coming across just a little behind him. It's a tough catch to make when it's behind you like that. And also as a receiver, you're thinking about turning upfield after you catch it.
Julio Macombo with that pressure off the right side for the Bronco defense, forcing that pass almost complete. So 2nd and 10 here for the Sun. Back to a single-man backfield. 3 receivers wide right. Bador dropping back, taking a look, throwing across the middle. He's got a man open in the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown. As Robinson hauls it in for the first score of the football game, the Broncos defense unable to corral Laron Robinson.
No, and that's tough. Robinson came across from the weak side to the strong side of the formation, so he had that full head of steam coming off the line of scrimmage, which is tough to cover when you're a defensive halfback or linebacker. The unfortunate thing is that the Kamloops Broncos are making the Sun do 2nd and long plays. They're just not able to capitalize and make plays to make the Okanagan Sun punt.
So 30-yard touchdown pass. Bador to Robinson makes it 6, and the convert from Huber makes it 7-0 Okanagan Sun. They're successful on their first drive and showing why their offense is indeed the highest scoring offense in the BCFC.
Yeah, that was some fantastic play calling by the Okanagan Sun. Looks like they've got a game plan and they're going to stick to it and see what they can get against the Kamloops Broncos. The flip side of that is, as I said, I thought the Broncos made some nice plays, allowing the Okanagan Sun to make some miscues, but when you get a team this good in 2nd and long, you've got to capitalize on that and help your offense get back on the field and make the Okanagan Sun punt.
So when you look at that defensive set in the secondary for the Broncos, when you mentioned that Robinson came around to the far side and got open, is that simply an adjustment? Is that a formation thing? Or what can the Broncos maybe do to adjust to that?
I think the free safety has to be aware that that might be the weakness. When you're coming with a full head of steam straight up the seam like that, that's a short pass for a quarterback, and it's a tough coverage.
So the Sun with the kickoff as Huber sends it deep, picked up by Aaron Moran once again inside his 5, and Cutting back at the 10, brought down at the 12-yard line. And it is deep in their own zone where the Broncos will take their second possession with 4:15 to go in this opening quarter. 7-0 Okanagan.
Great coverage by the Okanagan Sun kickoff team. That's what you want to do. If anytime you can pin a return in Canadian game inside the 20, you're laughing, and this one's at about the 13 right now. So that's a great place for the Okanagan Sun to be on their second defensive series.
So the Broncos resolve being tested early, deep in their own zone against the top defense in the league. Can they move the ball much like they did last time, getting it as far as the Sun 30-yard line?
Yeah, we'll see if they keep attacking the weak side of the field, and if that's their master game plan.
Yatchison and Chincha, the receivers on the far side. That's where Schuweiler goes. It's received on that far side, and that is Devin Chincha gaining some yards after catch, and he gets outside the 20. So a good first down gain for the Broncos, and that'll leave them with about 3 or 4 yards to go for the first down.
Yeah, and that's the stat you always look at for a receiver, right? You look at that yak, the yards after catch, and again, when you're playing a defense like this, that's what you want. If you're going to throw a 2-yard pass, you want to get that extra 5 yards after the catch for sure. And again, now it's second and short, which is a great position.
Broncos have had a lot of second and short. They were caught on a second and long, and that's when they were forced to kick deep in the Sun zone. But here it is, 2nd and 2.5. 3 receivers wide. Schuweiler, quick drop, throws wide side again. Chincha with the reception. Tried to squirt away from the tackle, just about did, but he was pushed out of bounds at the 27-yard line. First down, Broncos. Yeah,
and again, we're seeing Chincha and Yatchison on the same side. Looks like they're doing a right-left, not a strong and weak, so they haven't switched from the top of our screen. Also, I think the Okanagan Sun are just feeling out their timing routes. I'm still looking at the Broncos throwing all timing routes, and that can bite you when you play an athletic defensive backfield.
So Paul Marine, the lone man in the backfield once again for the Broncos. 5-man front for the Sun, and they're all coming. Handoff. Paul Marine is not going to get anywhere as he gets stuffed in the backfield. Great pressure led by Connor Novak, the local product, who drops Paul Marine for a loss.
Yeah, and Paul Marine doesn't have a chance. Again, when you're already in shotgun formation, your quarterback's at 5 yards away. You're getting that handoff 4 or 5 yards deep without that full head of steam. You're making it easier on a very athletic front four.
So substitutions on both sides here for this second and fairly long. We're looking at about 13 yards to go. Need to get out to their own 39 for the first down here for Kamloops.
And right now, they're probably just going to look at trying to win that field back if they can't get the first down.
Sun bringing 6. Quick pass across the middle that went behind Yatchison and too far for Chincha. And Schuweiler unable to convert on second down and really disguising that rush. The Okanagan Sun, they brought 2 to the line. 1 was a down lineman. All of a sudden, before you know it, there were 6 in that Kamloops backfield.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if they kind of disrupted Schuweiler's line of sight getting into those double slants like that, because it looked like Chincha kind of let up a little bit, thinking maybe it was supposed to go to Yatchison, so there may have been some miscommunication on who was the primary receiver on that.
So we're looking at 2 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. 7-0 the Sun lead. 30-yard touchdown reception by LaRon Robinson. The scoring play. Anthony Arduini is back. He'll be handling the punting duties this afternoon. And again, good pressure there. Cord Delinti almost got there, but it was not a very deep kick from Arduini, and that is going to be advantageous field position for the Okanagan Sun. They're going to take it 1st and 10 on the Kamloops 37 to start this drive.
Yeah, and it unfortunately already looks like that the Okanagan pressure has got into Arduini's head already after the second kick, and right now this is not a position the Broncos want to be in against a team like the Sun, and that's losing the field so early in the game.
So a very short field indeed here for the Sun to start their second offensive series. Sun this season, their lowest offensive output this year was 27 points. That was on Vancouver Island against the Raiders in a 27-3 win on August the 8th. Every other game has been 28 or more. Fedor with a drop back, throwing to the near side, caught and down is Casey Russell just across the 35, so a short gain. Call it 2nd and 6.
Yeah, and that's Casey coming out of the backfield, a little bit of play action pass there to keep the linebackers and halfbacks honest. Again, it's just a little behind. If you can lead your fullback or running back coming out of the backfield to allow him to turn up the outside of the field, then you can gain those extra 3-4 yards.
Cam Bedore, not the tallest of quarterbacks. There's always a lot of talk. You got to be tall to be a quarterback. Bedore is listed at 6 feet. And 210 pounds out of Abbotsford, but obviously very mobile with some of the running he's already shown this afternoon. A lot of motion there. Receivers upfield. Bedore, the drop back, throws across the middle and a little too far. Kyle Patchell couldn't reel it in. So the Bronco defense holds on a short field for the Sun. And it looks as though we may see the field goal unit. Yes, we are. We're going to see the Sun go for the 3 points, and it will be Thomas Huber, the kicker for the Sun, lining it up at about the 42-yard line for an attempt there.
Yeah, and this is well within Huber's range. And getting back to Cam, Cam's a very cerebral quarterback. He's very smart in the pocket, and he throws very well on the run. If he does have to run, that's a double threat. If you come up and try and tackle him, he'll just throw it over your head. And unfortunately, he led Patchell a little too far on that post, and that's one of their favorite patterns. They love hooking up on that skinny post.
Looks like they are going to rethink the play. Timeout's been called by the Sun, and head coach Shane Beatty out there holding court with his offense, or special teams unit more accurately, because I think they may have miscounted as he's waving his game notes towards everybody, making sure we either had enough or not too many.
Yeah, that's a mental mistake, and you don't want to have to waste a timeout to just do that, but you couldn't take a delay of game penalty because that quite possibly could have taken you out of field goal range, so better be safe than sorry to get these 3 points on the ball, on the scoreboard.
So it'll be a 41-yard attempt when it's all said and done here for Thomas Huber. North Vancouver product. 11 for 15 this season. His longest of the year is 40 yards. So he's looking for a season high here from 41. Kyle Patchell with the hold. Ball is down, it's up. It is plenty long, but it is wide to the right, but goes through the end zone for a single point. So with 48 seconds to go in the first quarter, Broncos holding the Sun to a single on that second drive. It's now 8-0 Okanagan, but a small moral victory, I would think, there for the Bronco defense.
Absolutely. I think they need to be patting themselves on the back for that, and then get on the sidelines and start talking to each other of what they saw and what was successful for them in stopping the Okanagan Sun like that. Is it a mental miscue from the Sun and you're making them overcomplicate things, or are you guys making some plays that they don't like and keep going to it? You want to get these all day long. You want to have your offense coming out, and now we got great field position for the Broncos to start.
On their 35-yard line to take over. There is some talk today that the wind may pick up a little bit later on, so if the Broncos, who rely on a passing game to a great degree, see how that may affect them if indeed the weather does change a little bit. But right now, a beautiful afternoon here in Kelowna, temperature around the 20-degree mark and just enough clouds, so it doesn't get quite so hot down in the field. Empty backfield, Schuweiler, quick drop, throws right side, Yatchison the reception, wrapped up by Van Nistelrooy and still manages to lunge forward for an extra yard. That'll be a 4-yard gain, 2nd and 6 for Kamloops.
Yeah, and that's helping out with Schuweiler making his read. The fact that he's at shotgun, he doesn't have to worry about Machoda and Gehring coming off the edge, getting into his line of sight. If they're going to keep throwing those little outs and hooks to the wide side or near side without having to go over the passing lanes, that's going to help him stay consistent and move those chains.
Gets the snap, no drop. It's just plant and throw.
Yeah, that's those timing routes that I was talking about. And if the Okanagan Sun start feeling that, you're going to see a pick six at some point in this game.
Sun with a 5-man front, 4 DBs, 3 linebackers. Schuweiler back, withstands the first wave of pressure, throws outside, but that was behind his receiver, and a nice effort there by Jamie Turek on the far side to try and come up with the pick, but out of his reach, and the Broncos back into a punting situation.
Yeah, and that's, I think, Schuweiler just trying to make something out of nothing. Unfortunately, as a quarterback, sometimes you have to throw it away, but when you throw it away, you don't want to put it where it's catchable by someone in a brown jersey. You got to launch it out of bounds or put it in the dirt and don't allow anybody else to get a pick.
Referee signals the end of the first quarter here at the Apple Bowl in Kelowna, and the home team, the Sun, have an 8-0 lead. 30-yard touchdown pass from Bedore to Robinson with 4:21 to go in the quarter. And then in the final minute, a 41-yard missed field goal by Thomas Huber, putting a single on the board, and that is the score right now after 15 minutes of play here in the Okanagan.
Yeah, and as we said earlier, that's got to be a huge moral victory for the Kamloops Broncos to stay in this game already after one quarter. 8-0, that's nothing. Anything can come back from that. But right now, to have to continue punting, their defense doesn't want to see a whole lot of 2-and-outs by their offense, that's for sure.
Third punt of the game for the Broncos as Arduini is back. High snap, Arduini gets it, steps into the kick, and a nice one down to the near side and reeled in by Cole Bridges. Evades the first wave of tackles, but the second wave gets him outside the 35. They're going to mark him forward progress at about the 39, and that'll be the Suns scrimmage here as we get the second quarter underway in earnest.
Yeah, no, it's a great kick by Arduini to pull down that high snap and still get something off that helps you try and win a little bit of your field position back. Unfortunately, the Broncos, I think, just have to come in a little more under control when they're breaking down on the punt returner like that, and then hopefully they can try and start pinning them inside their 35.
So the Broncos looking to provide a little more defense here, get their offense back on the field. Sun with some other ideas. There's that I formation again, comes to the near side, handoff, Fortune, not a lot of real estate as he's bottled up, and team defense for the Broncos there to keep his gain to about 2 yards.
Yeah, and they're doing a great job not allowing Fortune to get to the second level where he can start making guys miss. The more you can congest that tackle-to-tackle area, and if you make the running back have to go east-west, that's just going to allow you to kind of swarm and keep it now. As it's going to be, what, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9?
So 2nd and long has been fairly regular here for the Sun. Hasn't been a significant issue yet. They've been able to move the ball a little bit, but certainly playing into the Broncos game plan. So some movement again. 3 receivers wide side as the throw goes from Bador into the hole, and a nice throw into that little spot in the zone, and reeled in for a first down for the Okanagan Sun, and that's again Kyle Kawamoto.
Yeah, and no, that's a great read by sorry, who's the receiver on that?
That was Kawamoto, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a great read. On zone defense, you want your receivers to sit down, find that opening, and just sit down and wait for the quarterback to hit you, and that was a fantastic read by Joseph.
Indeed, Josiah Joseph in at quarterback here for the Sun. Between a number 7 and a number 1, if you're that far away like we are, sometimes you get missed. So it is Josiah Joseph, the Peachland product in. Stands back, throws near side, wide open again. It's Kawamoto. Check that. That is Thomas Huber who's open, and he's gaining some yards after catch again across the 25 to about the 24.
Yeah, and that was a great play by the Okanagan Sun. They got Wishart kind of clearing out from the slot position, and then Huber coming in underneath, wide open, and then that's a huge gain for the Okanagan Sun.
So that'll be first down just across the 25 inside Kamloops territory. Joseph remains in at quarterback. 4 receivers to the short side of the field. Now the handoff up the middle, taken nicely there by Shai Ross. Penalty flags fly as Ross gets through all the way down to about the 3-yard line. But we see all those flags likely holding, and that appears to be the call against the Sun, as the referee is indicating holding, checking with his colleagues, and that play in all likelihood is going to come back.
Yeah, and it looks like by the body language it might be against Fortune.
So right now, oddly enough, on 2 penalties that have been called in this game, it's taken away big plays for the Sun. One was the first quarter would-be interception by Van Nistelrooy, and this, the run by Shai Ross, which got them inside the 5.
Yeah, and that was a great play. The end around coming across. The Kamloops Broncos almost made a tackle for a loss in the backfield, and he was able to come around the corner. Unfortunate, it would have been a huge gain pushing inside the red zone for the Broncos, and now we've got a first and long.
We do have an injured Sun player on the field. Unable to make out what jersey number he's wearing, so receiving attention. We'll have a small pause before we resume play here at the Apple Bowl. 12:05 to go here in the second quarter. 8-0 the Sun lead. All the scoring so far happening in quarter number 1. But the Sun here looking at a 1st and 20 following a holding call.
Yeah, and again, this is some great opportunity for the Broncos to build some momentum, even though it's mental miscues by the Okanagan Sun. The Broncos can actually take advantage of that and allow that to be part of their game plan. If you can keep throwing the Sun off on some of their play calling, then this is a great situation to be in. First and long, absolutely.
And it is Ross who was down on the play. and looks to be none the worse for wear, so he'll take a short break, and hopefully we'll see him back in the lineup very, very quickly. But the Sun, with their changing of quarterbacks, Cam Bador got the first quarter, and right now to start the second, we have Josiah Joseph, and both are having really good seasons. Joseph, actually has more passing yards so far this year than Bador, as Joseph is at over 1,000 yards this season, and a passer rating of 128.8, which is basically shorthand for very good.
Absolutely, and that's a nice problem to have when you can have two quality starting quarterbacks split the game time like this.
So 1st and 20 here for the Sun. Huber in motion to the wide side. And Joseph all by himself in the backfield now, stands back, has time, throws, and it is almost intercepted. Zach Bosch had it in his hands, could not squeeze it. A near miss for the Sun. They catch a break there, but it remains 2nd down and 20 to go.
Yeah, I could see where Joseph was looking on that. You probably wanted to lead your receiver more to the middle of the field to allow him to run to the open field. But yeah, when you have a situation to make a huge defensive play like that, Bosch has to squeeze that rock and make a huge play for his team.
5'11", 200-pounder out of Sherwood Park, Alberta, Zach Bosch. The Sun with the possession still inside Kamloops territory from the 35, 2nd and 20. Joseph throwing to the far side. Lots of time to reel that in. It's Robinson again, and he is across the 15, and he is very, very close to a first down.
Looks
if
like
not,
he may have got it, yeah.
actually, in fact, getting that first down. I'm sure they'll do a quick measure.
And that's a heck of a throw, too. That's a lot of real estate to pass the ball out there, and he was surprisingly wide open, what allows him to get upfield and make those extra 7 yards for the first down.
So they're just going to make a quick measure on this ball and make sure it is a first down. And from the eyeball test over here, it looks pretty darn close. I think we'd probably be willing to give it to him. And is indeed first down for the Sun. So a big gain again for Robinson. A couple of big plays in this game. That one a gain of 20 and a half to give the Sun a first down deep in the Broncos zone.
Huge play by the Okanagan Sun, and no one's feeling that play more than Zach Bosch right now, knowing that he could have ended this drive.
And that's something we talked about at the beginning of the game. It's the mistakes and capitalizing on those opportunities. And it's oftentimes when you're playing a good team that a situation like that can see momentum turn. And the Sun have a chance here to capitalize on that missed opportunity the Broncos had. And early movement, I think that's going to be a legal procedure against the Sun. Looked like that line moved a little bit early.
Yeah, and these are those mental miscues that we were talking about that the Sun are having.
So Michele Vecchio on the wrong side of that call, so it'll be a 1st and 15 here for the Sun. It'll move the ball back to the 24.
Yeah, and right now the Broncos, with that missed opportunity to end this drive, they've got to be looking at, okay, guys, let's just make them kick that 3 points again.
So 4-man front here for Kamloops. Sun with 2 receivers to the far side, the short side. 2-man backfield. And Joseph takes it, drops back. He's going end zone, has a man, little fighting for the ball, and it is incomplete. Going after that was Liam Wishart, and some good defense from Derek Traeger of the Broncos, as that was a jump ball in the back corner and almost completed for a Sun touchdown. But the Bronco defense, again, bends a little bit. Still now 2nd and 15 for Okanagan.
Yeah, and great concentration by Wishart, and that's what you like to see. There's no flag on that play. The 2 guys battling for the ball. The referee's letting those guys go make a play each, and that was fantastic defense.
So the Bronco defense tested one more time. We have Huber and Ross to the near side. Robinson there as well. Joseph drop back, going to the end zone. Robinson's open, and he's got it. Another Sun touchdown. And it is 14-0 Okanagan pending the convert.
Yeah, again, with Robinson coming across and getting that full head of steam, he gets that separation from his initial coverage right away. Unfortunately, the free safety, again, is not seeing where that first threat is and coming down to help any sooner.
So a touchdown pass each for Joseph and Bador, each finding Robinson. And Huber with the convert to come, set to make this a 15-0 game for the home team with 10 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, if the Okanagan Sun are going to continue to come down with that cross motion with their inside receiver, be it Robinson or Ross or whomever, perhaps the Broncos might want to start sending that backer or halfback, whoever's in coverage, and come down and meet him at the line of scrimmage and knock him off stride so he doesn't have that full head of steam downfield.
Robinson, a big target, 6'4", 175 pounds, and you can see when he gets that speed going, gets that stride going, it's tough for some of those smaller defensive backs to maybe keep up and just go up there and knock the ball away with that much difference in height and that much advantage in speed.
Absolutely, and when Robinson's coming around the corner and he makes you open up your hips to where he can now dictate how he's going to play you, you've already lost. As soon as that happens, you're done, and it's just a matter of Joseph and Bedore finding him.
So, 15-0 Sun. And the kickoff from Huber. Reeled in and brought ahead again by Aaron Moran. And he gets across the 35 to about the 26. And the Broncos will be looking for some offense. Their defense has been, well, just kind of managing the game so far. Now it's time for their offense to step up.
Exactly. You can't fault the defense. They've had some opportunities to make some big plays, couldn't capitalize, but now they need to see some help from their offense. And if they can right now get a drive like they did the first one and hopefully at least put up 3 points, then their defense say, okay, you know what, we're in a battle, we can stay in this.
The Sun haven't given up more than 13 points in a single game this season. That was to Langley back in mid-August. And that gives you an indication of just how consistently good this Sun defense has been. So the Broncos have their work cut out for them as they try and get themselves back in the ball game, down 2 scores. Don't want to see it become 3 if you're wearing white today. So the handoff, Paul Marine, room on the left side, and some rough running gets him about 5 yards to about the 34.
And that's what you want to see when your running back comes through the line of scrimmage like that. Have his pad level down, and on first contact, knock that defensive player on his backside and keep getting yards.
Paul Marine, a Lethbridge, Alberta product, 5'10", 205 pounds. And looking to join the 1,000-yard club with a good final 3 weeks of the regular season. So 3 receivers wide side. Schuweiler drops back, pumps, but he's under pressure, gets away, and then he's reeled in. And taking him down is J.P. Kallenby, and it will be another kicking situation for the Broncos.
Yeah, and good job on Schuweiler to try and make something out of nothing, but really, when you're in a tight pocket like that, you're just delaying the inevitable. You don't want to see yourself get stripped of that football, so take your lumps, get that down, and hopefully your special teams can help you guys win the field back.
Schuweiler able to scramble a little bit as well, much like Cam Bedore, is over 100 yards rushing on 30 attempts, but just no room to get out of that vice grip of the Okanagan Sun front 7.
No, they're so smothering. When they smell blood, they get on that quarterback very fast, and they've got speed from both sides. To stop the rush from both sides of a defensive front like that is very, very difficult.
So 8 minutes and counting to go here in the first half. The Sun with a 15-0 lead, and the Broncos forced to kick it away one more time. Anthony Arduini is back. And a blocked kick. The Sun with the block, the pickup, and the score. Keegan Hughes with the block, Matt McConnell with the touchdown, and that Sun defense comes up with 6 points to extend the home team lead.
And that's huge. I think statistically in Canadian football, I think it's anywhere from like 75-80% of the time when you block a punt like that and return it for a score, you end up winning that game regardless of who your opponent is. So that's a huge advantage for the Sun already. And they seem to have mastered it as well.
Well, that was a very fortuitous bounce for the Sun as it went straight up off the block from Hughes and right into the waiting arms of Matt McConnell. And the Chilliwack native able to reel it in and rumble in for the touchdown. And the Sun, with Huber's extra point, have made the lead 22-0. But there are flags down after the play. And we will determine what that is. And it looks like it's going against Kamloops based on some reactions.
Yeah, and this is certainly what you don't want to see as a Kamloops Broncos player on the sideline. You want to stay in this game as best as you can, and when you start making mistakes after plays, whether it's penalties that is going to be enforced, So here you go. You've already lost the field again on this return unless you get a monster return out of Moran. And you don't want to see the wheels come off. So there's still a lot of football to be played, and you want to see the Broncos stay in this as best they can.
You said in the preamble this was going to be a real litmus test for the Broncos, who are one of these franchises that are trying to emulate what teams like the Sun have done. And one of those big things you want to find out about your team is how mentally tough are they, and this is crunch time for them right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, you want to see these guys say, okay, you know what, we've made mistakes. The Okanagan Sun pounced on it, but we had our opportunities. It's time for us to make some plays.
So Huber with the kickoff from midfield following the penalty, and Moran takes it from inside his goal line, and he's going to bring it out. 5, 10, and the pile working its way close to the 15, call it the 14-yard line, and some more deep in their own zone field position for the Broncos to try and overcome.
Yeah, a little bit of a rugby scrum there to get the best they could out of the situation, and hopefully they can just get some momentum, at least getting them out of their own red zone.
Another penalty flag after the whistle. So this looks to be going against the Sun. So the field position may improve somewhat here for the Broncos as they look to get themselves back in the football game.
Objection to conduct, 21, Okanagan, 10 yards penalty. First down.
Jamie Turek did something the referees didn't like after the whistle, so tack on some yards to that, and the Broncos are out on their 24-yard line to start things off.
Yeah, and there's nothing more frustrating for a coach to see those flags come out after a play is done and see these 15-yard penalties tacked on to your team.
So the Bronco offense going back to work. Schuweiler still in at quarterback here for the Broncos. Drops back, throws near side, little swing pass to Paul Marine. He gets a little bit of room to work on the near side, but he does not get back to the original line of scrimmage. So it'll be 2nd and 11 here for Kamloops as Paul Marine tried to get some yardage through the air.
Yeah, and it looked like an excellent read by Riley Butler coming off the end there on the D-line. He read that right away and had a nice pursuit to make sure that Paul Marine couldn't get up to the second level on his DBs like that.
Averages 14 yards per reception on 14 catches out of the backfield, but a negative yard there. And that Sun defense dialed up. Jonas Gehring on that right end, providing that pressure. Machado on the near side, bringing the pressure from both ends. So Schuweiler with a flag down, drops back, throws long. Chincha trying to get there, but it's about 5 yards too far. But a flag is thrown, and the Sun are hopping mad as Shane Beatty was up the sideline, and I'm guessing this is going to be interference or illegal contact. One of those penalties.
Yeah, they're going to call that on Turek. I'm not so convinced on that. It looked like he was running stride for stride, and you tell any defensive back to keep your hand in his hip pocket and just ride with him and put your hand on his hip. As long as you're not grabbing hands or jersey, I think those flags should have stayed in their pockets.
Well, the referee's conferring there just at the original line of scrimmage. You can see they're all taking notes, and Steven Schuweiler making sure he gets the next set of plays right, whatever that looks like. And now Lucas Machado comes in. What's up, guys? Looking for the intel on this penalty, which was thrown as Jamie Turek was trying to keep up with Devin Chincha on the near sideline with Schuweiler trying to get some big yards for first down.
Yeah, and the Broncos definitely want this penalty to stand so they can get out of the shadow of their own red zone. But we'll certainly see if the Sun just gave them an advantage, which it looks like.
Looks like we'll have the call here. It is being walked off against Okanagan. So the Apple Bowl faithful, not a big fan of that. And as you described, Jason, it was one of those things where, you go, okay, yeah, no, maybe so. It seems like a lot of attention, though, is being paid in a lot of levels of football to that receiver, defensive back battle that goes on a regular basis.
Yeah, and I thought it was just the same on the touchdown that we saw earlier in the game.
Quick pass to the near side for Chincha, and he gets muscled out of bounds by Turek as that battle escalates a little bit. So a gain of about a yard there. So 2nd and 9 here for Kamloops.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a lot more of that. If the Broncos continue with their short timing routes, you're going to see a lot more chances for the halfbacks and linebackers to converge on those receivers, and you're going to end up seeing a lot of second and longs.
Broncos maybe looking to open up a little space up the middle, too. A little quick outs. All of a sudden, quickly a little bit of room opens up the middle for some bigger yards. But a test here, 2nd and 9 for Kamloops. Sun with some pressure. Throw up the middle, and that is behind Chincha. He was at first down yardage, but Schuweiler threw it over that back shoulder of the Kamloops receiver, and that's a missed opportunity and another kicking situation here for the visitors.
For sure, and as you said, they had first down yardage. If he was able to hit Chincha in the numbers, that would have been a huge opportunity for them to keep the ball in their hands.
So 5:41 to go here in the second quarter. 22-0 the Sun lead. They have 3 touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns to LaRon Robinson, 1 each from Cam Bador and Josiah Joseph. A missed field goal by Thomas Huber and a blocked kick returned for a touchdown by Matt McConnell in the second quarter. That has accounted for the scoring in this football game for the men in brown. Anthony Arduini back to kick. Gets this one away. It's high, not terribly deep. Reeled in by Bridges, weaves through to about the 44. And team tackle there for Kamloops, and that is where the Broncos will send out their defense. Sun taking over 1st and 10 from, again, their own 44.
Yeah, and that's certainly not something to shy at for the Kamloops Broncos. With that pressure that the Okanagan Sun have absolutely mastered, getting into punters' heads and getting in there and putting that pressure, it really gives an opportunity. If you can't get there to block it, they often shank it. So right now the Broncos are looking at an opportunity that, you know what, okay, we got a bit of the field back, so let's get our defense out there.
Well, the Broncos have had a number of kickers go through this year. Jonas Levac was starting the year, and then Robbie Martin was doing some kicking, and right now it's Anthony Arduini doing some punting as well. So Broncos finding next man up to be a kicker for them. And now a completed pass on the right side that's taken by Kyle Patchell across midfield, and now about to the 44-yard line as Josiah Joseph remains in a quarterback for Okanagan.
And that's a tough element to defend against when you're on the defense. When you have a quarterback that can run and throw on the run, when he doesn't have to set up and rehitch himself, anybody that can throw accurately on the run like that, and Joseph and Bador can do that equally well, that's a huge advantage for the Sun.
So 4:40 and counting remaining here in the second quarter. Sun quickly into opposition territory. Joseph throwing near side as Kawamoto open, and he's taken out of bounds at the 40-yard line, but there is a flag in the middle of the field, and the early indication from Zach Bosch of the Broncos that it's going against Okanagan.
Yeah, and I wonder if it might be illegal man downfield. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't see anything else. It may have been someone downfield that shouldn't have been. Looks like some of the O-line are talking amongst themselves, so maybe we may have seen an O-lineman too far downfield on that play.
Would be a gain of 6 for Kyle Kawamoto.
Oh, wow.
Number 11, 15 yards penalty. Keep it up.
Shai Ross guilty of some offensive pass interference, so it's going to be a 1st and 25 for Okanagan back at their 49.
Yeah, without seeing the replay, I would have to imagine that he was blocking downfield. Joseph was holding onto that ball a little longer, allowing the receiver to get outside the defense. So I bet you Ross had his timing down right. The play just developed a little longer than they anticipated.
Well, it looks like a referee's timeout. Nope, that'll be an Okanagan timeout. They're going to stop the clock with 4:18 to go here in this second quarter. And the Sun looking to run their record to 8-0, and 36 seasons in the BCFC, Jason, and 33 seasons of those have been winning years. That just speaks to the tremendous tradition this Okanagan Sun franchise has been able to build since the early 80s.
Yeah, and there's the definition of consistency right there, right? From the top down, from the management to coaching staff to the recruiting power that this franchise has been able to have, and then the performance on the field. Absolutely is something that they should be very proud of. But if you ask anybody on that field, on the sideline right now wearing orange and brown, all about winning championships, and that's going to be their goal. Not thinking ahead, but that's what their end goal is, and it should be every team's end goal as well.
Looking for their 19th first place finish in the BCFC, and a win today would virtually assure that. Actually, it would assure that. And the record is 18, and they would break their own record if they do wind up putting together another first place season. And looking for a 9th undefeated season to go 10-0. Still some football to be played, though. Joseph throwing wide right side, reeled in by Kawamoto, slips the first tackle, slips the second tackle, gets around a little bit more, Kamloops pressure, and by the time the Broncos bring him down, it's a first down for Kyle Kawamoto as he brings it all the way to the Kamloops 29.
And that's a great job keeping his feet moving. Again, yard after contact is huge. The Kamloops Broncos, though, that first man has to secure the tackle. Don't go for any headshots or the big hits. Make sure you secure that tackle and allow your teammates to come and rally around you to stop that forward progress of the receiver.
3:40 to go here in the second quarter. 22-0, the Sun lead. Deep shotgun here for Joseph. 3 receivers right, 2 receivers left. Check that, 3 left, 2 right. Fortune in the backfield, he'll step up, take on a block or 2 as Joseph throws near side, taken in by Ross and brought down on that play by Derek Traeger. So a gain of about 13, though, another first down here for Okanagan.
Yeah, and we may start seeing what the progress of the rest of this game is going to be for the Okanagan Sun offense. They're going to sit back, and if Joseph and Bador don't get the pressure on them, they're going to start picking apart the Broncos and take their 7, 8, 9 yards a catch.
Coming into the game between Bador and Joseph, they were throwing for about 1,800 yards. Steven Schuweiler on his own was coming into the game just 16 yards shy of 2,000. So the Sun with great depth on a lot of positions, and that's what's made them so good. So many people can beat you. Handoff, right side. That is taken by Casey Russell, and he gets across the 15 to about the 12, so that'll leave him about 5 yards to go for the first down.
Yeah, and Russell's a heck of a load. He's a big, strong man, very strong in testing, and when you can have a guy that powerful running north-south, it's going to be nightmare for the defensive linebackers to have to come in and try and meet him head-on in the gaps.
5'10", 225 out of Winnipeg. And gets the... Well, that gain is going to come off the books as the Sun have elected to take an offside penalty against Kamloops, moving them 1st and 5 on the 11, and the 3-minute warning has been given inside the 3 minutes, down to 2:38 to go in quarter number 2, and the Sun threatening to tack on more points to their 22-point advantage.
Yeah, the Broncos don't want to give up 7 right now. They can't afford to give up a touchdown at the end of the half like this. They need a moral victory of making them kick a field goal, and then hopefully halftime make some adjustments and their offense can start capitalizing on little things.
Russell and Fortune in the backfield here for Okanagan. Got Huber and Wishart to the near side. As Joseph drops back, throws a crossing pattern, and tipped and caught. Great hand-eye in that far side. Liam Wishart, I believe, brought that in. And it will be first down and goal for Okanagan from the 4.
That was a fantastic catch and concentration by Wishart. We saw that earlier. His concentration is so strong. He also had Patchell, I believe, coming on the deep post if he wanted that. It quite possibly could have been a touchdown.
So the Sun knocking on the door again. Same I formation we've seen for much of this first half here for Okanagan. 4-man front for Kamloops. Handoff, right side, slashing to the goal line, and in is J.P. Kallenbach. And it will be an Okanagan Sun touchdown. Or check that, was that Dylan Fortune?
I think that was Fortune,
Okay,
yep.
my bad.
Coming
Dylan
in with
Fortune.
their power eye, yep.
Crossing the goal line on a 4-yard run, and that will be an extension of the Okanagan Sun lead, now at 28, with the convert to come from Thomas Huber.
Yeah, and if you're a Bronco, you didn't want to have that happen against you, but there's nothing more rewarding for an O-line to start hearing those power I formations called, and you can start running the ball down the defensive throat.
So the convert from Huber is good. And the Okanagan Sun putting on notice, in case you didn't already know, that they got a pretty good club and an awfully good offense. 29 points in this first half so far, and the defense even chipping in with a major score.
Yeah, and that's just a reminder coming in. So you're coming into the Apple Bowl, which is a tough place to play, let alone win. You're coming against the best arguably the best defense in the country, let alone BCFC, and then now an offense that seems to be clicking on all cylinders, passing and running. This is going to be a tough day for the Broncos if they can't make some adjustments at halftime.
Indeed, head coach Brad Yamoka and his staff looking to come up with some wrinkles that might find some success in the second half. Still a possession here to go in the first half, and a late score for them would feel awfully good. But the Broncos on the kickoff. Brought ahead by Jordan Angove. He's got some room on the near side. Turek trying to chase him down, and they do get him out of bounds at the 31-yard line. But that is a really nice return by Jordan Angove to give the Broncos a little bit of room to breathe here late in this first half.
Yeah, it's a good way to set up your offense to hopefully close out this half. And as you said, if they can put some points on the board, that's even a better bonus. But yeah, that's a very nice return to help out your offense.
Angove, 6'2", 190-pounder out of Prince George. Getting a chance to return that Thomas Huber kick, and now the Bronco offense, which has been stifled since some movement early in that first quarter, looks to get on track here. Leading receivers, Yatchison and Chincha to the near side. Handoff, though, to Paul Marine. He gets across the 40, bounces down about the 42. Check that, the 38. I'm about 5 yards ahead of myself, so it's getting close. 5 yards for a first down yet to go here for Kamloops.
Yeah, that was a nice shoestring tackle by Gehring, crashing down the line of scrimmage, and that could have probably had a much bigger gain by Paul Marin if Gehring wasn't there to trip him up.
So a little hurry up here for Kamloops. Another handoff. Paul Marine getting across the 45 to about the 46. That is going to be very close to a Kamloops first down.
Yeah, and right now you're seeing the Okanagan Sun defense making sure nothing happens behind them, and the Broncos taking the yardage where they can.
So 2 plays only takes about 15 seconds off the clock thus far in this second quarter. 1:45 to go in the first half, and the officials call for a measurement. I think they're going to wind up being just a little bit short. So it'll be third down and probably a football to go for first down for Kamloops. And I think you're in 3-down territory already if this isn't a first down, and I believe they have called it. Yes, first down Kamloops.
That's a huge first down for Kamloops. Allow them not to have to make that judgment call if they're going to go for it or punt it away, and that's a lot of clock to have to punt away to give the Okanagan Sun. But right now they're going back to basics. I think that's what we're going to see them come out to finish this half and start the third quarter is basic offense, start moving those chains and try and get some real estate underneath them.
6 defensive backs here for the Sun, opening up a little bit of running room for Paul Marine. 5-man front, bringing 6, room up the middle. As Schuweiler going deep, has Chincha. He hits him. Devin Chincha is going to score for the Kamloops Broncos. And the visitors are on the board late in the first half, and that dynamic trio of Schuweiler, Yatchison, and Chincha, 2/3 of them hook up and get the Broncos on the board.
Wow, that's a fantastic play by the Broncos. I thought he overthrew him, so it was great adjustment by Chincha in the open field. And, you know, a cardinal rule for defensive coverage is no one gets behind you, especially when you're playing a prevent style defense at the end of a quarter.
69-yard touchdown pass and run from Schuweiler to Chincha. And that's one happy number 88 over there on the Kamloops sideline.
And there's that little bit of hope that they need.
And the extra point from Arduini is, well, blown down before it counts. Flags on both sides of the field.
And as you said, on the sidelines now with the bench, that's a lot of confidence going for the Broncos right now, and it's going to give them that hope, like, look, we can do this. When there's opportunity there for us to take, if we complete and play within our game, we can hang with these guys.
So the point stands. It is 29-7. Okanagan leading Kamloops late here in the first half, and a big score. Again, a 69-yard pass and run from Steven Schuweiler to Devin Chincha. But Jason, there are 90 seconds on the clock here in the second half, or the second quarter, pardon me, for the Sun to do something with.
Absolutely. That's a lot of time for a high-powered offense like the Sun and a very disciplined offense. And also that's still a large hill for the Broncos to climb right now. It's still, a 21-point deficit, 22-point deficit is a lot to come back from still.
So Arduini with the kickoff. Back to receive is Shai Ross, number 11, bringing up the middle, long strides, galloping through the middle into some traffic, and he is going to be brought down before he gets to his own 40-yard line. But Ross covering a lot of territory. We'll call it 1st and 10 for the Sun from their own 39 here in the dying stages of this first half.
Yeah, great return by Ross, and unfortunately I think his slowdown was running into his own player at around the 36-yard line, so that's a little frustrating, but nonetheless a great return.
So the 7 points the Broncos put on the board are already above the season average that the Sun generally allow in the course of a football game. They've had one shutout, a couple of games where they've given up 3 points, 2 with 7, 1 with 10, and 1 with 13. So the Broncos points on the board, very good thing, and now the defense needs to be stout to keep it a 3-score game going into the dressing room at halftime. So Joseph dropping back, throwing Huber open near side, makes the catch, but wrapped up quickly. Good tackle, solid one made by Kieran Muir to stop Huber's progress. And that's going to be 2nd down and about 4 to go here for Okanagan.
Yeah, and I like that play. Joseph looked off the defense, looking at Kawamoto first, and then hit Huber a little farther downfield.
Joseph again throwing far side. That is incomplete, and Kyle Patchell's banging his hands together in frustration, feeling like he could have brought that one in.
Yeah, a high-quality receiver like Patchell should have had that, and he knows that. A little bit outside and high for a pass like that, and Joseph also would know that, but that was their chance to get a first down.
Patchell 7th in the league with 428 yards receiving this season. Kyle Kawamoto, the leading Sun receiver this year, with 639 yards. Those two, of course, behind Yatchison and Chincha. Chincha with 69 yards in that one reception. Now gets him comfortably over 800 for the year and actually passes his teammate as those two go back and forth in that horse race for leading receiving yards.
Yeah, when you've got a double threat like that, that's a great problem to have for a quarterback. Who am I going to throw the ball on this play?
First punt of the game for the Sun. Or is it? Van Nistelrooy fakes, and he's got lots of room to run. Out on the right side, getting to the sidelines and taken down at the 45-yard line, and a flag comes down after the play. But Van Nistelrooy takes the snap, and it was run all the way. That was going to be an offensive play rather than a kick for the Sun right from the get-go.
Yeah, and if I'm a defense/return team lining up against the Okanagan Sun kicking with Van Nistelrooy, I'm keying him first and making sure he kicks that ball off every time. I'm worried about the fake before I worry about my return.
So the penalty here.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 20. Offense. 15 yards penalty. Will be applied from the end of the run. It will be first down.
That's McConnell getting a little overzealous on that fake return.
Well, the Okanagan Sun, we're talking before the game about this being, a respect game. Everybody's talking Kamloops offense, and it's good. I think certainly some emotion carrying over, and the Sun have been in, I wouldn't call it penalty trouble, but the Broncos penalties, I don't recall them having one, and if they did, it was just an offside call, nothing to the effect of unnecessary roughness or objectionable conduct or anything like that after the play. So the Sun, getting caught up in the emotion, I think, a little bit of the game.
Yeah, I think their mistakes, penalty-wise, are starting to kind of hinder their progress and the momentum that they're making, be it offense or defense or special teams. And unfortunately, when you're such a quality football team like that, it doesn't quite cost you as much, but you can't be having this late in the season, and you certainly don't want to see those kind of miscues in a playoff game.
So it'll be first down and 10 to go from their own 50 here for the Sun following the successful fake punt first down gain for Brendan Van Nistelrooy. They just lose some field position. So with 61 seconds to go in this first half, the Sun still with plenty of time to make something happen offensively and restore their lead to 29.
Yeah, and they still have a timeout left, if I'm not mistaken, and with a minute left in Canadian game, that's an eternity.
It's like the last 2 minutes of a basketball game. Sometimes they can take a long time with all the timeouts and stoppages.
There you go.
So the Sun looking for the last score of the first half. Joseph in at quarterback. Bedore had the first quarter. Joseph's had the second. Throwing to the near side. That is caught by Ross right at the 50-yard line. Double team tackle by Kyle Muir and Julio Macombo. And that is going to be very close to a first down. Officials, though, signifying it'll be 2nd and inches here for the Sun. And just 6 seconds came off the clock.
Yeah, way to climb that ladder and grab that by Ross and take a lick, knowing that the halfback or corner's cracking down on him like that.
Winnipeg product getting 9+ yards there. 5 receivers. Joseph looking far side, throwing, and it is out of the reach of Laurent Robinson. And missed opportunity there, but I get a feeling that they're probably going to go for it here on 3rd and inches.
I would imagine, yeah. That's well less than a foot, so they should have no problem with their hog being able to get this first down. Although we do see, it looks like their punt team with Van Nistelrooy on the sidelines there.
46 seconds to go in the second quarter.
Better be safe than sorry, I guess, is the way coach is thinking.
Well, you fake it once, do you fake it again?
It's quite possibly. If you've got the better athletes, then what you're going to see is probably Van Nistelrooy roll out, and he's probably got a green light that if I can get the first down, I'm taking it. If not, I'll just cough and kick it deep.
So we'll see if the Broncos went to school on that play. Whole lot of motion here as everybody swings wide to the near side. And it'll be a legal procedure called here against the Okanagan Sun as they maybe got a little too cute. And it'll be 3rd and 5 as opposed to 3rd and inches.
Yeah, that's a great moral.
26 offense. 5 yards penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
Yeah, great moral victory for the Kamloops Broncos there for sure.
So they'll have all eyes glued on Brennan Van Nistelrooy after he ran for a first down on a fake punt the last time he was out there just a few moments ago. 2 receivers wide side. Van Nistelrooy rolling right. He is going to kick it. And a pretty decent kick too. High and taken at the 11-yard line there by the Broncos. And carried up the far side and spun out of bounds as it was Jordan Angove once again taking the ball forward for Kamloops on that kick.
Yeah, Van Nistelrooy still has a powerful leg when he's rolling out like that. To get that kind of distance when you're rolling out almost like a rugby kick is fantastic, and they obviously have a very disciplined coverage team as well.
So it'll be a first down for the Broncos from their own 26-yard line with 30 seconds to go in the first half. Big play has gotten them on the board here late in the second quarter. 69-yard pass and run from Schuweiler to Chincha. And I think the Sun are going to be wise to that here in case the Broncos try to quick strike again and close that gap down even further. So Yatchison and Chincha near side. Schuweiler drops, throws left side, reeled in. Nice reception and brought down on that far side. Broden Romanovich, the Okanagan product from Vernon, able to reel that in. Big first down for Kamloops.
Yeah, an impressive choice as well. I thought I wouldn't have been surprised if they just ran the ball, let the clock go out, and not risk any chances of having a turnover or a mental mistake, but huge call in a big game.
Still 26 seconds to go here in this first half. Schuweiler across the middle, tipped away. Good defensive play. Cord DeLindy with that knockdown. And it'll be a second down with the clock stopped here for Kamloops on their own 47.
Yeah, that would have been a tight area to get that ball into. Cord was right in his hip pocket all over him on that play.
So 21 seconds remain here in this opening half. 29-7, the Okanagan Sun lead. The Broncos, though, thinking about putting a few more points on the board. They got the time to do it. They've got the personnel to do it, too. 3 receivers to the near side. Flag goes down, and a pass across the middle reeled in, and tackled there was Cam McKenzie. But we'll see what the penalty is going to be to see if that play stands. Sun looking like it's against them again.
Yeah, Machota, his body language, it looks like they may have been lined up in the neutrals there and there.
Pretty much a dead giveaway, is it? Look to the sky and throw your arms up. Oh, that's me. So it'll be 2nd and 5. They'll redo the down as opposed to the... Actually, no, it'll be first down and 5.
No, it's still second down.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So still 16 seconds on the clock. Starting to become a bit of a obstacle here for Kamloops. Sun bring 5. Throw to the near side, reeled in by McKenzie, trying to get out of bounds, won't do so. He's brought down just shy of midfield with 10 seconds to go.
Yeah, good open field tackle by Cordolenti. Good closing speed and made sure he wrapped him up and he didn't really have any help if he did miss that tackle, and it was a great open field tackle.
So it looks like the Broncos are going to go here on 3rd down.
And the Sun are making sure they got some deep coverage as well.
So the quick hitter, that's Yatchison, needs to get some yards. He does get them, and it is 1st down Kamloops as he nears the Okanagan 50, right about the 51. But the clock runs out before the Broncos get another playoff. So that wraps up the 2nd quarter and half number 1 here at the Apple Bowl. And a quick summation of the first half, Jason. I think it's what we expected. The Sun flexing their muscles, the Broncos kind of hanging in and looking for some positives.
Yeah, I think the Broncos had some flashes of brilliance there with the talent that they do have. Oftentimes, I think it's just a little, you can tell that they're still just a few steps behind where the Sun are when it comes to the athleticism and the execution. Unfortunately, though, we did see some missed opportunities by the Broncos that quite realistically could have probably had this first half with maybe a 1-score game.
The dropped interception.
Absolutely,
deep in
by
their own
Bosch.
zone.
Yeah, that was a huge missed opportunity.
Well, it is still a game. That's why they play 60 minutes. Only 30 are in the books. It's a 22-point lead for the Sun, 29-7 over the Kamloops Broncos. That wraps up the first half. We're going to take a short break and come back with the 3rd quarter in just a moment. You're watching the BCFC on Shaw TV.